everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today, as expected, it is this video I have been wanting to do for weeks. If you can't tell, I'm going to be telling you a train I'd like in Train Sim World 5, or trains, but it's going to be a train for every UK route, again excluding like Bakerloo and Isle of Wight because I don't know anything about the routes, also the Peak Forest and others. I've been wanting to make this route for a video for quite a while, and I've got a few suggestions that I think could potentially happen in the future. It makes sense to me, but I think, to be honest, to start, most of the ones don't make sense. A lot of them, though, do in a way. You can tell me what you think. If any of my suggestions are good, you want them as well, or if you think they're a load of nonsense. But yeah, also, just to kind of vague shout, this is kind of inspired by Richie Rail. He's a fantastic YouTuber. He does a lot of videos like what to expect from like Train Sim 5 and like routes and everything. This is kind of inspired by him. I've seen him do like predictions of what he thinks will get added into routes, and what he wants like train DLCs, and hence why I've kind of copied it a bit, or not copied, but like been inspired by it and decided to go for that. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm not used to using slideshow, so first route is the Mildmay line. I've pretty much there's nothing really needed in this route, to be honest. The only thing they could say, as you can see, it says nothing really needed because it's such a short route. So the only thing I suggested, they could add the class 3, 4, 5 in for the Elizabeth line, so because they've obviously got reliveried class 7 10s. So 7 10s, yeah. And then obviously that potentially could mean that the 3, 4, 5 could layer onto GWR, Great Western Express, and at the Reading. Yeah, that would be quite a cool thing. But yeah, that's my first suggest. There's nothing really to suggest there, so I'm just going to move on to the London Overground Suffragette line. I'm going to try and get these two out quickly. So it is obviously the Overground counterpart, nothing can be added. It is very short. So the one train I am suggesting is the class 172 for London Overground. However, I do not know if they ever went alongside the 710. Probably not, because 172 pretty much is now. I think it's out of London Overground. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But yeah, having diesel on the overground line that's electrified with third rail is not probably going to work. So I'm going to say that that's probably never going to happen. But they could still add the 172 for like a West Midlands route at Birmingham, on the Birmingham Cross City, which you'll see my suggestion for later. Now on to the older route. It is the West Coast Midland North, and the train is tenuous. It is the class 27. It might not happen. It could happen in a distant future. It's more of like a West Somerset Railway kind of train, like probably not that, but like a Heritage Railway train, or like this. I think I did basically on some of them. I had no idea about the routes, like the older ones, so I googled stuff like to find pictures from the past. This is one of the ones that came up, so I thought I'd use this as a suggestion. I know that this 86-2 is going to be added soon, and I think that obviously that'll probably make no sense, but having a 27 in the game would be quite cool, a bit more diesel traction. And if you look at like, I think you only got the 20 as the out of the 20 class trains, so that would make sense for another one to be added. Next up is the Blackpool branches. I get this is another suggestion. The class 110. I don't know much about the DMUs or the retro DMUs. I've heard of this one though. It's very nice. I know that I think it's the Peak Forest Railway expansion pack is coming with a 104, so that would be the second British Rail DMU to go in, or a retro DMU along with the 101. But a class 110 or a class 110 would be quite cool as well. A bit more diesel passenger traffic rather than the 101. And yeah. Moving on to Route 5, West Somerset Railway. Out of the older routes, this is probably the one I could have been the most creative with, because there's a lot of like heritage diesels and steams at the West Somerset Railway. So I did a bit of research and I found my suggestion. It is the class 35 Hymek, or Hymek, or however you pronounce it. I did obviously mention that the Thomas the Tank Engine pack came out. Excuse me. But it is obviously like a bit of an unrealistic thing. So if they wanted to go down a more realistic route again, the class 35 would be really cool. I really like it. I've got a model of it as well. It's a very funny looking loco, and I'll also be seeing one at Derby. And I don't know if it does any rail tours. I did mention that, but it might. I don't know if it does. It would be cool to have even one rail tour running it. That would be a lovely train to add in. Moving on to Route 6 is Tees Valley. It's a very hard route to pick out a train for, but I did pick one. I've been wanting an excuse to suggest this. I've suggested the Class 143 Pacer. As you can see right there, I'm not a huge fan of the 142 as a pacer. That's why I was slightly disappointed when the Transport for Wales 142 was announced, or the Arriva Trains Wales 142 was announced. And you can see there, this is a bit old, but I mentioned how I wanted the 143 added in for Transport for Wales, or Arriva Trains Wales rather. But I do want the 143 in the game, or the 144, because I really like pacer, those kind of pacers. And that's why my suggestion for the Tees Valley line is the 143, because the Tees Valley line could do a little bit of a revamp. I know it's only 23 miles long from Saltburn to Darlington, but it is, and it's mainly freight to be fair, but yeah, it would be quite cool to have a wee 143 somewhere. Now, Route 7 is the Northern Transpennine route. I played this route a few times, but I don't like it as much. However, I'm going to suggest the Class 25 for it. I had to do a bit of research for this. It was quite hard, but this is the first train I found that I don't think that was in it, and it's the Class 25. I did look, and it does run services, I think, Carlisle to Leeds, so that, and Morecambe, so that could go on to towards like on the West Coast Main Line North at Carlisle, obviously. That would be quite cool, and then obviously it can run up to Leeds, where you'd link up to the what's it called? Northern Transpennine route. I might have my mind go blank there. Now, Route 8, I think this is the last oldest route that I can have done before the modern routes, apart from the London Overground. But I've come up with a good suggestion, in my opinion, is the Network South East Class 50, the Hoover. That would be really, really cool. It can obviously run rail tours if they ever make the Hanson and Hall one, or BR Blue, or even the BR Large Logo Blue. But I really like the 50. The thrash is amazing, and I think it would be a really cool addition to have running to Penzance. Even the Network South East livery would be really cool to have as well in this new livery. But swiftly moving on to the first modern route is the East Coastway. And I have a okay suggestion. It's the Class 73-9 for GBRF. I have seen this once at Brighton, and it was on a test train. As you can see, it was in Francis Bourgeois' video. A very specific 73. I'll just give the number 73-962. But it'd be quite cool to have a nice like Network Rail test train. Like we've obviously got loads. We've got quite a few locals that can run the test trains. The 37 in the game. Any others? What else runs it? The 43 could do it as well. That Network Rail test train. But it'd be really cool to have a 73-9. Because it also could do a bit of freight. And there's quite a few different liveries and nameplates. So that'd be quite creative. Route 10 is the London commuter rush hour. This is one of my favourite routes in the game. I am going to give an honourable mention for the first time. It is the Class 455-8 for Southern, because that can run up to London Victoria, and they were retired in 2022, and I think the route's based in 2021, so that fits well. But the main suggestion, as you can see pictured, is the Class 67, but the specific one is the Pullman one, because there's two main, like, apart from maybe the HST on the, what's it called? Oh, I forgot the name. Midland Pullman. And then you got that, and then you got the Bellman Pullman and the Royal Scotsman. There's no real rail tour train. Mainly basically the idea for trains and like the creators, the rail tour, is they basically just add a train on to a consist of like Mark II intercity coaches, but having a Bellman Pullman, which is a specific rail tour train that still operates, would be cool. And yeah, the 67 is a new loco, and I'd love to see it in the game. Route 11, Birmingham Cross City, and I think this route is the one that needs the most, because apart from the West Midlands Railway 323 and a HST run, you pretty much get nothing. I bought it on a discount, but I think considering how it's like £29, that's ridiculous. For a route that lacks. It's obviously a long run, but there's just no variety. Hence why my suggestion is the the cross country Class 220 or 221. It would be a great route to have. And the I'm still a bit. It'd be a great train to have in the game. And it can obviously layer into other routes such as Fife Circle and Glasgow to Edinburgh Express. And I really like the Voyagers, and I just want an excuse to add them in. So yeah, that's the suggestion for Birmingham Cross City. Route 12 is the East Coast Main Line. The East Coast Main Line just got a new pack as well with the Rail Tour pack, with the Class 47, the 47, 484 Kingdom of Brunel, and the 40 and 45. The only problem with this pack, in my opinion, is the fact that the 40 and 45 are locos that have been added onto a lot of routes, like Northern Transpennine and stuff. But the suggestion for this route for me is the Class 60 for GBRF, because the one thing, and I've seen it so many times, including a video recently, is that everyone wants in the game is a new freight loco, because we're all tired of the 66. The DRS is about 18 different EWS routes, DB Cargo, the one livery, the Ocean one. Hence why my suggestion is the Class 60. They could also add the Drax wagons in, and it's a new operator in GBRF, and it's a really cool loco. I love the Class 60. Like, this picture is a phenomenal one with like the clag coming out of it. So I'd like the 60 added into this on the East Coast Main Line. Moving on to Route 13, it is the Midland Main Line. I did say a bit that there's nothing really needed adding in this game, this route, but I will suggest the East Midlands Railway 222. Because if you look at the route, kind of, the HST and 158 are fantastic, but the only thing that this route doesn't have is the 222 Meridian, and it's another Voyager type train that I'd really like. Plus, they're going to replace the train soon with the Class 810, so it'd be amazing to freeze it in time in this route, because I really like the Meridian 222. Hoping to potentially see some at Bedford if I go in the summer, so yeah, that's my suggestion for Midland Main Line. Route 14 is the South Eastern High Speed. And I had to like think for this route, because this route obviously is quite a long one up to St Pancras, but then down to like Rochester and Faversham and Rainham and that. So I tried to come up with a suggestion that would be cool. The only problem would be they'd have to make a huge route for this, but I'm still going to suggest it because I think it's a popular suggestion. The Class 373 Eurostar. I love the Eurostar. I've never been on it, but it's one of my favourite trains. It's so cool. The like sounds, the speed is amazing. Like the way you can hear the carriages like shooting by like bullets. It would be a very cool train to have running alongside the 395 at speed. It would obviously have to divert off away from like the other areas, like, away from Kent and everything, I think. But I'd still really like to see it added to the game, even full runs up to like Gare de Lyon, or wherever they go. Paris, that's probably a better answer. That would be fantastic. Moving on to Route 15 is the Great Western Express route. I don't think my suggestion for this is as good, I'll be honest. It is the Class 332 the airport route. I don't actually know fully what airport it would run to. But I do like the 332, and we'd lack a fishbowl in the game. Mainly why I picked it. I mean, it's that of the Northern 333. And I couldn't really think of anything to this game apart from if they added like the GWR 800s or 802s down to Penzance or something, but that doesn't make sense. That's just why I suggested 332. So this is a pretty feeble suggestion in my opinion. So yeah, if it ever gets added, that's pretty cool. But it served a very short stint. I think I don't know what it got replaced by. No, it got replaced by the Heath. That's it. I think this is running for Heathrow Express, because then I think they got replaced by the Heathrow Express Class 387s. So yeah, 332 is my suggestion, but that'll never happen most likely. Route 16, I think this is probably one of my best suggestions out of the whole thing for the Fife Circle and Leavenmouth rail link. This route is getting a timetable update, also with the Leavenmouth liveried Class 158, number 719, for anyone who doesn't know. But my suggestion is still a good one, and I'm just going to say it. It's in Train Simulator Classic. That'll help you. It is the ScotRail Class 68. Just ignore the DRS one sat in the back. Pick your dear 68007. But this is a phenomenal train, a very popular suggestion. Not just for ScotRail, but maybe for DRS or Chiltern if they had a Chiltern route, or even if they wanted to re-add it is like Transpennine and they could have like York in or something. But I really like the 68. It's one of my favourite diesel locos. The thrash is amazing and it's intimidating but exciting at the same time. And I really, really, really wish I had ever seen a ScotRail 68. I've heard them, definitely. I definitely saw one, just didn't see it properly. But I really want to see it, and I think everyone would be happy if it got added into ScotRail on the Fife Circle. Route 17, this is also a very tenuous one, and also the Arriva Trains Wales Class 142 is coming out, as I said earlier. But I still think, in my opinion, my suggestion is a more popular one. I really would like this. The Transport for Wales Class 769. It's a bi-mode multiple unit, and I really would prefer that or the 143 to the 142 just being reliveried. I know a lot of people are excited by that, and I am too. But I just would like a new train, and I really like the 769 and the 319. And it's like it can go on electric if they ever electrify the route. I don't know where it runs to, so it might have to add like a new line in. But the 769 is one of my favourite trains, and I really want it in. I've never got on one, which is annoying. I might still get one if I ever go on the Northern Line. It goes out there, goes on, but I still want the 769 for Transport for Wales because the motors are one of my favourite things. Route 18 Glossop line. Funnily enough, this is the route that I think needs a glow up or a gloss up, however. But my suggestion is tenuous because this route lacks so much. The Northern 323 again, and obviously then the 323 is going to be added on the Manchester Airport commuter. You get a few runs on the 37-5 and then the 20, and then like one evening run on the 158, and then some 66 runs. So my suggestion is a new train, and new operator is the TransPennine Express Class 185. This most likely will never happen. Maybe if it's added on another route anyway. But I just wanted to make a suggestion for a new train at Manchester Piccadilly. So the only other train that they could add is maybe the 397 could make a bit more sense. But I do like the 185, and it would be a cool addition to the game. Route 19 is the Cathcart Circle. Another again, I think one of my best suggestions. My honourable mentions for this route again are the two of the three other ScotRail trains that I haven't been added that I haven't picked. The 156 and the 318, they both run to Glasgow Central, and they could add like a Kilmarnock line in, or even the 318 can run the route to like, I think it runs to Newton and Neilston, although actually no, the 380 might do that now. But my suggestion anyways is the Class 320. I know the 321s are really popular, and everyone's upset they're out of passenger service. But I really like the Class 320. I've been on it quite a few times, and the motors are one of my favourites. And I really would like that in the game. Make it if they add Glasgow Queen Street low level, or even Glasgow Central low level. That can run a few runs to like Balloch and Airdrie, so that would be quite a good run to have, like nice local runs. Which leaves me to my final train route suggestion. It is the ScotRail Express. Oh no, sorry, second last. My bad, I forgot one. But my suggestion is another one that would require a new line added in. It is the ScotRail Class 153. So the 153-3 is, as everyone knows, is on Transport for Wales. But the ScotRail one is the exact same. It is a 153-3. I'm guessing also they'd have to relivery it and do the interior. But the 153-3 on the Highland line up to Oban would be not hilarious. It would be amazing. It would be heroic, and I'd just love to see the 153 for ScotRail. It's one of the best lines that's really popular, and it's very popular for tourists for like trekking and hiking, hence why it'd be a great route to have. Along with if they ever had the 156, then they could double up, and it adds a bit more variety for ScotRail. And also that completes the DMUs, I think, because if they add the 153 and 156, then they've got the 158 and 170 already, and even if they had the HST, that's pretty much done, and the 68 if they ever had that too. And this leads on to my final route, the West Coast Main Line South. I could come up with a million suggestions for this route, like all the freight locals. You got the 56, the 68, the 88, the 60, the 57, the 90s, the 92s even. All those freight locals, plus like the Avanti Voyagers, the Avanti 807s, the Avanti 805s, and then even West Midlands Railway have got a few suggestions. But you can see them all listed here. But you can also see the train I'm suggesting, the Class 70 Freightliner. I love the 70. I was going to suggest it for Colas Rail on like one of the Scottish routes. However, I don't think it would work. I'm still going to suggest the 70. And my honourable mentions are also the 319 and the 321 for West Midland Railway or London North Western, because those are like retro trains. Even the 730 could go on it. The 321's Anglia, they are the Varminus Rail. But I have got a little bit of bonus for you at the end of this thing. I've been talking about a variety of different routes in the UK. So here are some routes I'd like added into the game. There's only two. I could think of quite a few more, but these two link off other routes and they make a lot of sense to me. I think I don't know one of them, I don't know if it's in Train Sim Classic, but the other one definitely is, which is the one I'm going to start off with. The South Western Main Line, London Waterloo to Portsmouth Harbour. I don't know if this has been suggested by other people, but I really like it. I've never really played. I don't play Train Simulator Classic, but I really like the route. So by the looks of things, there's a lot, and I think it comes off from the London Victoria to Brighton London commuter rush hour route, because the one thing that Clapham Junction lacks is like London Overground traffic, and the also the like southwestern traffic, as you can see. So if they had like what London Waterloo further up with Vauxhall, and then they run all the way down to Portsmouth Harbour, they could like do something with this route. And I've suggested the train that's on the route in Train Simulator Classic, which is the Southwestern Class 444. It would be another Desiro added to the game. It would be the third, I think. Yeah, the third Desiro, along with the 380 and 3. Why have I gone blank? What's the other three? 350. Yeah, 350, 380 as the two Desiros in the game, and the 444 could be the third. Yeah, as I said, the main reasons because it's in Train Simulator Classic. The only thing I'd change, as you can see here, I don't know what the livery's called. I'm just going to call it the red, orange, white, and blue Southwestern livery. If they added the red and black livery in, that would be cool, because that'd be a bit more modern and would fit in well with the route. But my second suggestion is another good one. This one's a very small route. It's kind of like Cardiff City Network, except it's not really like a network. It's more just a single extension line off the route. It's still about 35 to 40 minute runs, and it is the Marston Vale line from Bletchley to Bedford. This would be an extension of the West Coast Main Line south from Bletchley all the way to Bedford. Funnily enough, it goes to like Bedford St John's, and I don't know where the stations are, but it's quite a good little like city hopping route. And it could come with the possibility number of two trains, either the from like the 2019-2020 area before lockdown, the West Midlands Railway Class 230. That'd be a kind of cool battery train to have. Or the train I'm suggesting with it, the West Midlands Railway Class 150-1. There's a particular reason why I favoured the 150-1 over the 230, apart from the fact that I prefer the 150-1 as a diesel multiple unit, and plus it could also then layer onto Northern. It's because I saw a leak for it. I know it's been confirmed as fake, but there was a leak for a 150-1 coming into the game. And yes, I know it's obviously fake and everything, but still, it's not off the table. I really like the 150-1, and having a new West Midlands train in, and it would also layer onto it would be on the West Coast Main Line, which gives you a bit more West Coast Main Line traffic. It'd be great. It's just basically an extension. It's a bit like the Mildmay line, just this short overground route. In this case, the short extension route, because they could also have like 700s running services, and I think they ever add the 360 or 222. That would be cool too. Plus, there's a few freight trains I think that run through Bedford. But yeah, that's my suggestions for Train Sim World, for one for every route. Let me know what you think of my suggestions, if you think they're absolutely horrible and will never happen, and the stupidest thing they could have ever come up with, or if you think they're actually possible and they might actually happen. And thank you for watching. Please click subscribe. We're only 11 subscribers away from 1,000, which I think is an astonishing thing to say. I don't know if there's going to be much content coming out very soon. Quite busy eventually. I'm going to be quite busy over the next while. There'll be a bit of plain content soon, potentially. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.